Today we have a rather unpleasant video because we will indeed be talking about the greed of developers. In fact, Hamster Combo was initially supposed to probably actually really give away a very fairly large amount of money to its users, but we fully understand that the project has now grown to astronomical proportions and the current number of users simply cannot physically receive such a significantly large amount of money. Today we will look at various projects and different launches. I have prepared a table for you where we will calculate how much we can potentially get in hand. Today, I will indeed try to provide very comprehensive and detailed arguments and points and show you why we are very likely to receive less money than initially expected. Before we discuss pricing and understand how much money we can potentially get, I suggest we go over the entire timeline of events to understand exactly how the development team acted entirely and completely in a manner that was inappropriately. I already told you that because I am a partner of the BingX exchange, I had the opportunity to enter a closed investment round and we were given confidential information that the listing was supposed to happen by the end of April. Then changes happened, the listing was moved to May, they said we just need to wait a little, don't be upset, just wait, everything will be fine. But when May came, the project started gaining momentum very quickly, growing exponentially. And as soon as this started happening, new partnerships emerged and new people wanted to engage with this project appeared. And the situation happened that initially this project wanted to launch on Binance Smart Chain, but because they suddenly decided to change their development direction and started collaborating with Tone, they said that the listing would be postponed again. And in the end, from late April, it was first postponed to May, then postponed to June, then due to new partners, it was all moved to July, and now the final date, as the development team promises us, is supposed to be in July. But look, the main problem here is that most of the bloggers who started promoting this project starting back in April were constantly deceiving their audience. They kept telling their audience, okay guys, look, in April we're definitely launching 100%, but then they would say, we just need to wait a little longer, definitely in May, at the end of May we're launching, it's set in stone. May comes, and again, sorry guys, the listing has been postponed, but definitely in June. June comes and goes, and now they have to say in July for sure, it's 100% on the roadmap, even though this roadmap has changed several times and the listing keeps getting postponed. The main issue here is that people are just getting tired. You can see that people are no longer actively searching for these daily codes, combo cards, and there's nowhere to find new people to attract as referrals to open a new card, which would increase your income, give you some bonuses and so on. People are starting to get annoyed. If before you could still invite some friends and acquaintances, now everyone is already in this hamster. You've invited everyone you could, but it's still not enough for the developers. The developers say invite more people for us, we want more users, we want even more people to know about our project. And all these factors influence the fact that if this project was previously perceived positively by us, now the audience is slowly starting to fade and realize that there are too many users, too much interest, various activities are appearing there and so on. But it's already too much, there are too many of them, and people are simply getting tired of it and stop participating in all these activities. But let's move on to the numbers. Users didn't just come to poke at this hamster for no reason. Everyone saw the success of Notcoin. Everyone saw that with Notcoin, you could get $100, $200, $300 for free, and that was considered normal. And now, in the midst of the hype, people are not doing all this for entertainment, they are doing it to get real money. At the moment, the project has 150 million users. Let's immediately disregard multi-accounters, bot users, and all other people who have been earning coins dishonestly. If we look at the history of Notcoin, about 30, maybe even 40% of users were cut off. We will assume that in the optimal scenario, we will lose approximately 50% of users in this particular case. If we look at the number of users in the official Hamster Combat Telegram channel, we will see that there are almost 40 million. I think that the actual users who really play the game are indeed much more, and it actually amounts to approximately more or less reasonable numbers, which is from 50 to 75 million users, give or take. If on average each person receives $14-20, the total capitalization of the entire project will reach $1 billion. Let's stop at this figure for now because it is a rather large amount that the project currently does not have, and they do not have the ability to buy back tokens from the market with such enormous sums of money that they will be giving away. Let's draw an analogy with Notcoin. When Notcoin was launched, its initial capitalization ranged from $1 billion to $500 million. Let's take a look at the initial price distribution range, because as soon as Notcoin was listed, people received free tokens, and what did they start doing? They came to the market and started gradually driving the price down. They kept selling and selling until our project's market capitalization dropped from $1 billion to $500 million. In this case, a large project like Notcoin, upon its listing, initially received a valuation of $1 billion, but then the price gradually started to decline and reached only $500 million. Let's draw an analogy. Someone might tell me that I don't understand, that Hamster has grown exponentially compared to Notcoin, that it is much stronger, much more fundamental, has a larger user base, and so on. Let's take this hypothesis as a basis that the Hamster will be valued, for example, 2-3 times more than the Notcoin was valued. Even if this actually happens, let's just see how much money we will indeed actually get. In this particular case, the average amount of money received per user will be approximately around $30-40 per person. If our Notcoin was listed with a capitalization of 1 billion, then in this case, if our Hamster comes out with the same capitalization, for example 2 billion, then on average, a person will receive $30-40. In my personal subjective opinion, the Hamster will not be worth more than $3 billion. Because it's just a simple game, just a game inside Telegram where users came solely to poke the Hamster and get free money, which they will indeed immediately take to the market and start selling right away. The difference between Hamster and Notcoin is that Notcoin is a very strong project, backed firstly by Telegram and secondly by the entire Ton ecosystem. If Telegram has billions of free money in order to buy back all the sales from the initial group of individuals who actually received these tokens for free, then Hamster is, indeed, definitely, basically a relatively small project with minimal initial funding. We find ourselves in a situation where even if the project launches with an estimated value of 2-3 billion, they simply do not have the ability to buy back that amount of money from people. They don't have the ability to cash out all the tokens that will be distributed to users in order to give out real money, even $1 or $2 billion. What will most users do with the free tokens once they get them? We have already seen the answer to this question with Notcoin. They will simply carry it, sell it, and try to take immediate profit. If we base our calculations on the fact that Notcoin started with a capitalization of 1 billion and dropped to 500 million, let's draw a similar parallel with Hamicom. If we take into account that we will immediately enter the rolling stage and that the price will drop by about half, then in this case our market capitalization will also fall accordingly. And if we take this calculated estimate value, assuming we enter a downturn phase, the average price at which most users will most likely be able to sell their drop will be around approximately $14 to $20. Based on these numbers, I am starting to lean towards the idea that most users will likely end up receiving between $20 to $50. Let's reiterate. If we base our calculations on more or less reasonable figures, although 2 billion, to be honest, I don't see that as a reasonable number. It's a very inflated estimate for the current project. But even despite this, on average, one user will be able to receive around $20, $50, which is a reasonable amount that can actually be allocated to one player. Let me try to lift your spirits a little bit more, because if you were indeed an incredibly active user, had a significantly high hourly yield, invited friends, and participated in activities, then you might be among the top people who will receive the most money. Even if we consider you will be among the top 1 or 5 million users, the reward for these users will likely be around $100, $200, $300. Therefore, even though I assume that most people will end up with a balance of approximately $20.50 in total, if you were a very active user and completed all the various and varied tasks and activities I mentioned, then there is a very high chance that you will be able to get a drop of at least around $100. I'll be honest, my expectations for this project honestly dropped really significantly the moment the development team started doing shady things. They started doing dirty work by deliberately and strategically attracting the maximum possible number of users, and they reached a critical point where people just started burning out. And now the moment has come when the point of these activities is essentially lost because people are burning out. People no longer understand why they should engage in any activities if after 3-4 months of active efforts they end up with just $20, $50 or $100. This is clearly not the kind of money worth spending a month, 2-3 months of your life just logging in daily, losing sleep, checking, leveling up your hamster, doing some activities, because it's simply not worth it. The very last unpleasant moment we will talk about today is that only half of the problem is that most people will get $20.50 in their account, and active users will receive an average of $100 to $300. But the amount of money received will not be given out in full immediately, as we have seen previously in the past with Notcoin. In Notcoin, our vesting period was 0, and literally all the coins we mined were immediately converted, released into the market, and people could do whatever they wanted with them right away. But unfortunately, Hamster Combo will not have such a model. The main information that was highlighted, at least regarding vesting, cannot change significantly because it would be a direct violation of the agreement with investors. Therefore, these are the rules I am guided by. Look, we have an initial airdrop as stated here with a 4-month vesting period. This means that the main money users will earn only for the first month. When the token gets listed, we will receive only 20% of it. Accordingly, if we take the average amount that one user can receive per account, even if you are an active user, following and completing all tasks, your listing will still amount to, let's say, even $200. And if we divide them, for example, over 4 months, we get that one person will receive an average of about $50 per account. Therefore, not only will most people receive less money than they expected, but the distribution will also be spread out over several months. Again, someone might say this table is outdated, that it has been changed 350 times as the development team likes to do, but let's take a look at another post. I showed you this conversation in the last video, but a lot of commenters came in, as always, shouting that it's all fake, it's all made up, what are you throwing at us, you made it up yourself. I love you all very much, but please, if you doubt the information I provide, just close the video and stop watching me because it really irritates me. I have been in this industry for a very long time, earning professionally here for over 5 years, and I know who has a significant voice in the community. This particular person truly has very influential connections, so believe me when I say that the conversations this person had are more than genuine. I have already shown you there was a dialogue between the admin of this channel and the founder of Hamster Combo. In essence, he indeed casually confirms that there will be specific and detailed rules for unlocks. We return to this snapshot where the unlock rules were already specified. This means confirmation. 1 month, 2, 3, 5, 10, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is that you won't get all the money at once. It won't be the same story as with Notcoin. Here, it will be a different story, where the money will be distributed over a large number of months. So once again, to summarize, I would estimate that most people will receive an average of $20.50 per account, active users will receive an average of $100-300, and the most unpleasant part is that the distribution of this money will be spread out over at least several months. Again, I must repeat that I am very skeptical about the achievements that Hamster Combat is currently showcasing, because the more users there are, the more diluted the amount of money that players will receive. Of course, for the project this is good. The project naturally attracts a large audience which it will be able to monetize in the future. This will help attract new partnerships, new people, new acquaintances, and so on. But users, regular people like you and me, won't gain anything extra from this. The longer the token launch is delayed, the more our interest fades, firstly. And secondly, the number of users increases, which in turn reduces the potential amount of money we can get our hands on. Therefore, I don't have very high hopes for this project, and I expect that they will indeed give away money, but it won't be any astronomical amounts. Additionally, in the pinned messages on my Telegram, I have another guide on Pixelverse which is already set for June without any delays or new conditions. They will be distributing tokens in June. I highly recommend that if you haven't started leveling up in Pixelverse yet, you should do so. You actually have a much better chance of making quick money here, so go ahead and check it out. Here, all the information is described, including the specific tasks you need to complete to receive the drop, and by the end of June, I think we will be able to share the results we achieved with this giveaway. For today, thank you all very much for watching. Like the video, leave your comments, subscribe, and I'll record many more videos for you. Thank you all very much and see you next time.